Living Leesburg. So our theme for 2025 is rising higher, growing deeper. And those words really stand out to me today. And you'll find out why when you hear our message. For the month of February, the theme is radical interconnection. And for week four in February, our message title today is Letting Go, a New Way of Being Together. And it will be presented by our wonderful Reverend Charlene. We are so glad that you took some time out of your day to join us. Please sit back, take a deep breath, and just relax. You made it, and enjoy our welcoming video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
All right, and now it's time for our meditation. So Charlene and I were talking before service, before you joined us, and I said, hey, Charlene, I'm going to do something a little different for our meditation today. I've had a book that I bought, and it's been sitting on my nightstand, and this morning when I was getting ready for our service, I picked it up and started skimming through it. And I'm going to use our meditation time to kind of walk you through what stood out for me. The title of this book is Why is God Laughing? And it's by Deepak Chopra. On the back, there are accolades from Dan Aykroyd and John Cleese. So that says something to me. So let's just begin our meditation today by taking a deep breath, holding it, release. Again, take a deep breath. Sink into your chair a little deeper as you hold and release. So we always begin meditations with just breathing, because it slows us down. And I think tying in with our theme for February, it opens us up to a connection, ready to receive messages from the divine. So here we go, reading from the inside cover of this book. It says that in this book, there are 10 reasons to be optimistic, even in our challenging world. Why is God Laughing shows us without a doubt that there is always a reason to be grateful. That every possibility holds the promise of abundance, and that obstacles are simply opportunities in disguise. So that's just the inside cover. And from what I was picking up, it takes us through the story of a gentleman who's a comedian. But in the back of the book, I think it's kind of in the epilogue, is the path to joy, the 10 principles of spiritual optimism. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. And something a little different for our meditation. You can just sit back and listen and let the words seep in. Or you can grab a pen and pencil. And if you hear something that you really like, just jot down a number. And if you can hang around after our service, when we do our pearls, and you need the wording for a certain number, I'll share that with you. So let's listen to these 10 principles for spiritual optimism. Number 1, the healthiest response to life is laughter. And he says the antidote to fear and sorrow is to experience life as joyous. And then a little bit later, a few lines down, what is true in the material world is false in God's world, and vice versa. So the antidote to fear is to experience life as joyous. Number 2, there's always a reason to be grateful. The second principle is an antidote to victimization. It establishes that you are seen and you are provided for. You are seen and you are provided for. Number 3, you belong in the scheme of the universe. There's nothing to be afraid of. You are safe. It says right below that, the third principle is the antidote for insecurity. It tells us that fear can be totally convincing, yet there's no truth to it. Fear cannot be trusted. The fourth principle, your soul cherishes every aspect of your life. The fourth principle is the antidote for feeling undervalued. It states that your worth is absolute and that everything that happens to you, whether it feels good at the time or not, is a part of the divine plan unfolding. Number 5, there is a plan, and your soul knows what it is. The fifth principle is the antidote to meaninglessness. It states that you're here for a reason. Your life has a purpose. You're not an accident. You're not on the wrong path. There's a purpose. Number 6, ecstasy is the energy of the spirit. When life flows, ecstasy is natural. The 6th principle is the antidote for inertia. It states that infinite energy is available to you. You are a co-creator with God. To claim your creative power, you need only to connect with the energies that are at play within you. The seventh principle. There is a creative solution to every problem. Every possibility holds the promise of abundance. The seventh principle is the antidote to failure. It tells us that every question includes its own answer. Outside the narrow boundaries of time, problems and solutions arrive at the same instant. And number 8, obstacles are opportunities in disguise. The 8th principle is the antidote to inflexibility. It tells us that obstacles are signals from consciousness that we need to change direction, to take a new tack. If your mind is open, it will perceive the next opportunity to do so. Number 9, evolution leads the way through desire. The 9th principle is the antidote to hypocrisy. It encourages us to act on our own genuine desires because they show the way. Don't be better or other than you are. Who you really are is exactly who you should be. And number 10 was the one that I read that I said, yes, I'm making this our meditation today. Number 10, the 10th principle, freedom is letting go. The 10th principle is the antidote to attachment. It reminds us that striving isn't the way to God. If you let go of what isn't real in your life, what's left will be real. What's left is God alone. So, those are the 10 principles. The book is Why is God Laughing? This is not just going to sit on my bedside stand anymore. This is going to be in my hands. I'm going to be spending some time reading some more of this. And like I said at the beginning, if something resonated with you, hang around for our pearls if you can, and we'll talk about this some more. All right, that's the ending of our meditation. Come back to us as we join the magnificent Leah.
We are living in a strange time. We are living in amazing times. We are living in the greatest days of all time. Can you feel your mother calling? Can you feel your spirit echo her? That we are living in the greatest days there ever were. Way out in the distance, in the dust somewhere, the same old mission, same red clay in his hair. And he's been haunting the same sacred ground for round about 1,000,000 years now. He is living in a strange time, and he is living in amazing times. He is living in the greatest days of all time. But he can feel an era shifting in spite of all the pain that came before. He is living in the greatest days there ever were. Now you just stand by. Yeah, yeah, you stay tuned. Somebody's gonna land my sister on the moon, and she's gonna wave down from on high and make this whole world cry. 'Cause she is living in a strange time. She is living in amazing times. She is living in the greatest days of all time. And can you see what we're becoming? Everything we've been and so much more. We are living in the greatest days there ever were. May I call you sweetheart? Am I losing touch? Black mask, don't ask, yet here we still are. Still haven't changed that much. Do you think we're gonna make it? Will we outgrow the hate, the greed, the war? Can we grow into our greatness? Everything that we were brought here for, to find we're living in the greatest days there ever were. You and I are in the greatest days there ever were. We are privy to the greatest days there ever were. So let's go out and make the greatest days there ever were.
Oh, wow.
In 2024, I released a new album, Ordinary Magic.
Sorry,
I'm
there's
incredibly
more.
proud of it and pleased with the way people are responding to the music that I have loved creating and sharing. And I continue to experience kindness and openness and warmth in my travels, as the more of the world I experience, the more beautiful people I meet. I've actually known Emma's Revolution for years, but ironically, strangely, despite the fact that we lived in the same town for many of those years, we're growing a closer relationship now that we're on different continents. They're in California and I'm in Germany, and yet I feel like our music and our message and our humanity is becoming closer and closer entwined. And just an exemplification of kindness of human beings, the possibilities for kindness. Pat Humphries, one of the highlights of this year is that Pat Humphries gifted me this beautiful handmade guitar. And in receiving this instrument, without question the finest instrument I've had the opportunity to play, just doubles, triples, tenfolds my desire to do good work with this instrument, with the instrument that I am. Sharing this time in this space with beautiful hearted, incredibly talented artists like Pat and Sandy O. It just reminds me what's possible for all of us, right? We have what we have to share. And when we open our minds and our hearts to do that, amazing and beautiful things can happen, great things. So this song is the first that I wrote on this guitar, and I dedicate it to Emma's Revolution. I dedicate it to our human evolution, to what is now and to what is next for us.
Thank you, Leah. Wow. So, welcome. Good morning. And she's so talented. She just pulls things out of me that I didn't even know were there. So grateful. And Tamara, thank you for that meditation. In fact, it's right on time. As we know, we don't really plan these things, but the universe plans them for us. The title of my talk today, as your Reverend Charlene, I still can't get over it. Reverend Charlene. Anyway, the title, Letting Go, A New Way of Being Together. A new way of being together has something to do with letting go? Why, how would that work? And it comes down to an awareness of something Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talked about. He says you got to get into this. You got to realize that you have a sphere of control that's, maybe think of a concentric circle. It might be on a piece of paper 1 inch in diameter. That's the sphere of control. But you also have a sphere of influence, which is a little bigger than that. The trick, as we all know from our, hold on, I think I need to spotlight me just a second. All right, it is spotlighted, but for some reason on Vimeo, we're seeing all the people. So just so you know, Nancy and Tamara, you're on camera. So trying to figure out, oh, I know how to do it. That fixed it. But you guys are gorgeous, so it's fine. Anyway, the serenity prayer. How does it go? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and this is the winner, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two, because oh my gosh, how many times have we tried to reach across someone else's life, almost try to reach into the beingness inside their center and try to tell them what to feel, try to tell them how to vote. I'm saying that because I personally have someone in my life that just sees the world entirely different, and I still love him. And I wish I could just, there's times, because I know what's right for all of you. I know exactly what you need to be doing with your very precious life. Says who? That's a terrible approach. So, I mean, this is great. Letting go means I'm going to be a lot more fun to be around if I'm not jumping down your throat and telling you how to think and what to do and how to feel and how to fix it. And besides, isn't it handy? Isn't it so handy that by me paying attention to all your trouble, I don't have to look at mine? Because it's hard. So I'd rather focus on yours. So imagine, what if we let go of that stuff and then became came together to our community and were able to just celebrate each other in whatever way they choose to show up. These are grown people, people who are grown. We have no business telling them how to feel, how to think, or judging. It comes down to judging them, doesn't it? And they make it so easy, though. The people on the other side of the aisle, they give me so much material to judge them with. And it keeps coming out every time. I told you this last week. Every time I turn on the news, oh, yep, got a lot of material. But again, it's not mine to do. So, to that end, I read a book. I listened, all right, fine, it's an audiobook by Mel Robbins. It's called Let Them. The Theory of Let Them. So wait, what's let them? To get yourself out of trying to control people, get yourself out of the casting director of everyone else's life, right? We can decide to take on this stance. I don't like what they're doing. Let them. Let them. That's a grown person. Let them do what they're doing. And the author of the book kind of breaks it down how it first started. When she first heard it, she was in the middle of hyper control everybody, trying to make sure everybody's doing exactly, she wanted to micromanage everybody around her. And it was one of those situations where these are, your children are going to the prom and they're teens, they're late teens, and they are, so they're going to make a decision that could mess up the prom dress. They're going to make a decision that could mess up the new sneakers. And the author of the book was like, my oldest daughter took me, held me real close and said, Mom, you need to let them. And Mel's like, well, they're going to get, what? They're going to go out into the rain. They don't have an umbrella. They're going to get wet. And she said, let them. But they're going to get, just going to be dirty all over the splash, all over the mud. And the daughter kept saying, let them. And this mom was able to back off of the ledge in a quite beautiful way. And then said, oh my gosh, this is genius. So she started really going through her life and trying to figure out all the ways in which she was scattering her energy around, trying to control things that are not in her circle, the little concentric circle of the things I can control, the inner one. All the stuff she was trying to control was on the outer circle. She might be able to influence it, she definitely is not in control of these grown people. So she started writing it down, and her blog went viral. Everybody's getting "Let Them" tattooed on their arm. So she finally wrote the book to break it all down, because there's a subtle nuance of letting people just be who they are. Letting them do what they do frees you up from your putting your energy into something, and then it also frees you up to let you. She goes, the second piece is let me. Let them and let me. And here's an example that she gives in the book. I recommend download the book, listen to it. Great. It's narrated by Mel Robbins. Okay. She said, what if you're at the grocery store? You're at the grocery store and they're taking a long time. And she even goes through the dramatization of beep, beep, so slow. And the people are online like, oh my God, there's 6 people waiting in line. And then the lady stops and talks. So how you doing today? No beeping. Oh, that's nice. Beep. And so she takes them through the way she narrates the story. Hilarious. The point is, she realized she had a choice. She could turn around and talk to the person next to her in line and commiserate about the fact that it's going so slow. Or she could just let them. She's not going to be late if she stays there in line. She says, let them do what they're doing, and then let me respond to the situation in a way that takes care of me. And then she goes on to explain, but let me tell you something. After listening to, I think it was maybe chapter 10 by that time, this book convinced me to go ahead and start the social media thing. Go ahead and do my blog. Go ahead and put stuff out on social, on Spotify. Do our whole teaching. You see, up until this very moment when I heard that very direct message to me, I had been sort of undercover Reverend Shar. You won't see me on Facebook with Reverend anything. You won't see me anywhere publicly embracing my spirituality in front of people, because I was afraid that people would say, what? Her? She's the least holy. That girl cusses, she drinks, she wild. Have you seen some of those dresses she wears? I didn't want the judgment. I don't want to hear it. Because guess what? There's some people in some religions that think if you're a minister, then you're supposed to be, walking around with your hands in a prayer fashion with the robes, and ew. So I just didn't want that kind of attention. Now, but it's been keeping me small. It's been keeping possibly CSL Leesburg small. I don't know. I've been keeping a lid on it. And now, because that Mel Robbins had a chapter that said, if you find yourself holding yourself back because of what other people might think, let it go. It's a fool's errand. Because let me tell you something, she says, no one will ever get 100% approval in anything that they do. If you're going for, I don't want anybody to criticize me, so I'm not going to move around a lot, then people will still criticize you. And now you're not moving around a lot. It only is going to hurt you. So if they're going to criticize anyway, let's go. This is the thing that opened me up. So the other part is, now I also remember the reason I got off of social media is because I always would scroll other people's stories and I would just compare myself, my true messy inside self, to their perfectly curated, possibly photo-tuned outsides. That they've got these vignettes of them doing this life that, of course, I want to have that life, but I don't even know. That could be fake. Like, I'm comparing my messy insides to their perfect outsides, and I always come up short. It's not a spiritual principle to compare yourself. No, if you're listening, the creative, I think Tamara is number 7, about how we're here for a reason. We're here to be creative. We're here to express the divine. And if it comes out of me, the way it comes out of me, that's my gift to the world. Who be me to get in the way of that? Who am I to shut off the spirit spigot? I just made that up. There's a spirit spigot. Huh. Anyway, so I'm now becoming more aware that it doesn't serve anybody to play small, to not shine. And then when I'm noticing other people or thinking, because it's either me trying to control what they think or me trying to compare, that none of those things are real. It's just, those are ways to waste my energy. And what would I do if I had time to work on the things I love to do? What if I spent all day doing the things that make time disappear? The things that energize me. It's awesome. And I know Dan just put something in the chat, but Dan and I were working on some AI stuff because I love AI and I'm also spiritual. And so I have this idea that we could just use technology to advance our spirituality. They don't have to be separate. And so now I'm trying to figure out how we're going to be converting a lot of my talks into like a little bot, and you can ask Shar. Anyway, I can ask myself anything based on all the talks I'm giving. I can just pretty much write a little agent that'll just find quotes. It'll, based on what I've said so far, I can train it to just be me. It's fun. Do what you love. And what happens if it doesn't make any money? I don't care. The universe tends to reward passion. It tends to do that. So I'm like, let's have fun. There's so many tools out there. There's so many ways to take our teaching and elevate it in today's modern times. And who knows? It could be the thing that keeps us sane, because right now, if we focus on the things that Tamara was telling us, you focus on the stuff in the outside world, that's not real. But a lot of times we tend to focus on it, and it tends to bring us down, and it tends to drag us into the pits. And then our feelings, we walk around with the, the little, remember that character? I think his name was Pigpen on Peanuts. Do you remember? He had like, it just looked like, he looked like that. Some of us are walking around with that energy because we're believing all the stuff we're seeing on the news. I don't know. I think we have another way, a more holy way, a higher way to live our lives. And we get to, I don't know, I feel like I could still be joyful. I could still be joyful even though, yeah, sure, I can see on the horizon, yikes. I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. Oh, well, back to what I'm doing. Like, if it is a dust storm, it'll get to me eventually. And what am I going to do about it? Right? So it's one of those things, staying in the present moment, being right where we are, nowhere else. Boy, the more I talk, the more I realize that 12-step program, they figured it out. One of the things because when you first start out, they have you memorizing all these little quips, all these little phrases that keep you from going crazy. And for me, it was food, the food Overeaters Anonymous, but they had the same kind of stuff as in AA and Narcotics Anonymous and all that. One of the things they always said, keep your mind where your feet are. Keep your mind, or keep your head where your feet are. So a lot of times, right, we're running into the future, making up stuff, and then scaring ourselves half to death. Or we revert to some little part of our history. We go back to when we were 18 years old and we said that embarrassing thing, and then we get secondhand embarrassment again. It's over. It's not even happening anymore. But we spend so much time on our own timeline running back and forth. But you know how to get over that is to be present. Eckhart Tolle talked about the power of now. You only have now. We don't want to soil now with something in the past that we can't change, something in the future that might not even happen. So we're paying tax on things that we haven't even purchased yet. That's crazy. We stay right here, right now, and then look at what opens up. We can look around ourselves because we no longer are spending time, another term they use in 12-step, taking other people's inventory. That's what they call it. When you're pointing out someone's flaws, you tell them, don't take my inventory, take your own. And it's logical. It's a way to free us up, because if left to our own devices, if left alone and not in community, humans can devolve quite quickly. We go a little crazy. That's why solitary confinement is so inhumane. That's why many traditions chop off, isolate, excommunicate. They take you out of the group so that you don't have that sustenance. And that's one way that if you're lonely, it's a morbidity factor. So it's important to find your peeps like we found our people, keeping our energy up, keeping our spirits up, and taking our ideas about how other people should be, removing that, coming up with a lot of extra time. Now, what will I spend this plethora of time on? I'll spend it on me. I'll spend it on following my dreams, so that when I do get online and I do start scrolling, there's no need to be jealous of other people who are also being successful, because I too feel like I'm being successful. In fact, the only times, I've noticed whenever I've looked at the social media and been like, oh, it makes me feel bad, it's usually because I'm suppressing something. They're doing something that I want to do, but I don't have the courage to get off the couch and go find that adventure. I'm scrolling and looking at their adventure, which is why I stopped scrolling. But I feel like with this newfound sort of understanding that let them, they can do, sure, and this really helps. You watch the news, let them. You know, and have you ever seen somebody just tire themselves out because they're just going all kinds of directions, and you're like, yeah, well, whew, that kid's gonna crash. Like, it's not sustainable. Let them. Now, again, when you listen to the book, Mel breaks down the difference between using the let them theory on children that are in your care. You can't just let them, because come on, they're not going to make it through childhood if you just let them do whatever. And then there's people who are in the throes of whatever disease or whatever. You can't just let them if they're going to hurt themselves or hurt you. But in general, when we're just out with friends trying to give each other micromanaged advice, that's what we're talking about. Trying to change other people, or just love them where they are. Just love them. And so with that, what we have is something from Ernest Holmes. Now, in this book, he wrote an effective prayer, and I'll end on this because we have gone kind of long today, but his book, Effective Prayer. He says, in the end, what living creatures want is love and belonging. He writes, love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. It is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it's warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. All right, let's go within and see if there's any prayer requests. So going into our spiritual mind treatment, where we use affirmative prayer to know the truth about what it is we want, and then we set the stage for that to make itself visible. Let's go within. There's only one divine energy, that is the universal one. This is love, this overarching peace. This is the energy that birthed the universe. And all the universe is, all of the whatever is as the divine. The divine is as me, as you, as each and every person within the sound of my voice, as everything we look upon. This is the body of God. And we are here on purpose. We are here right on time to do exactly what we're led to do, to unfold exactly in the way that interests us. We follow our passions. We follow what excites us. We do not care what other people think. It's none of our business anyway. In this energy of divine wholeness, I speak my word that for anyone that is about to go into surgery, like Rusty, anybody who's recovering from surgery, like me and Dan, I know that we are all in this wholeness, this divine wholeness healthy state and that it is unfolding perfectly. Each and every one of us, our cells know exactly what to do. Sometimes they need a little help. And so the divine moves through the doctors, through the nurses, through all the things that are in a busy OR. Absolutely. All intending to uphold the self-healer within, which is the divine. And so I speak my word that all is well. Everything is already working together for the good. And so in this awareness, in this acknowledgement, I simply allow this truth to be. And I know that it is already bringing forth fruit. I simply rest in gratitude. I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. And now, Leah.
Doom, doogity doom, gadoo-gadoo, doom, doogity doom, gadoo-gadoo. Don't give in to the chaos. Keep your focus on the light. You are not alone, all is not lost. Do not give up the fight. Just keep moving toward the world we can become. We got to keep moving, and we will not slow down till the day is won. Don't believe in the nonsense. Clear your mind and stand your ground. If I rise up and you take my side, they will never knock us down. We got to keep moving, to keep the faith and hold the line. We're gonna keep moving and show the tyrants we are of one mind. Don't give in to the chaos. Keep your focus on the light. We are not alone, all is not lost. Do not give up the fight. We will not back down, we have not lost. We will not give up, we will not give up the fight. We will not back down, all is not lost. We will not give up, we will not give up the fight. No, we're gonna rise. We're gonna rise. We are gonna rise. Yeah, we're gonna rise. Oh, we are gonna rise. Yeah, we're gonna rise. In 2021, I watched the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with great anticipation for the direction that I perceived the country was moving in. The United States is my home, and it is a hub of human activity that we all watch with bated breath, and sometimes with great excitement and joy, and sometimes with deep agony and confusion. This year, 2025, I chose not to watch the inauguration. But I have recently watched the movie Wicked. My eldest daughter, Layla, has insisted that I watch this movie. And so, although I am late to the party, I am very, very glad that I have finally arrived. I recommend it. Among other resonances with this current moment in the world, and specifically United States of American politics, the bombardment of insane, impossible news coming from the White House reminds me tremendously of the booming mask, the smoke, the horror inflicted by the first images of Oz, the Wizard of Oz. And I don't have the vocabulary or even the knowledge to fully articulate my sense of what was going on. And that's why it was especially helpful when Layla, again, sent me the video of Ezra Klein's commentary on this present moment. The link is in the description. I strongly encourage you to check out what he has to say. Comment here, comment there, speak with other people about how you are perceiving this moment, and consider seeing something other than imminent demise. Consider seeing a call to action. Consider seeing an opportunity to get off the sidelines, to be involved, and whatever that means to you, to be part of the movement in the direction that you'd like to see the United States go, our global community go. Wherever you are, whoever you are, there is something that you can do to tip the scales in the direction of decency, of love, of solidarity. And it's in the name of those energies that I am sharing this song.
Ooh, my goodness.
Doom.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Charlene. You know, I have to say, we try not to get too political, but there is an elephant in the room. And I think it's safe to say that everyone is watching the United States and the news coming out of there. And yeah, we believe in treat and move your feet. There's a way to take action because everything is interconnected. All right, folks, now is the time in our service where we talk about our donations and how we believe in the law of circulation. As you give, so shall you receive. We know that money is always circulating. It comes, it goes, and where is it coming from and where is it going to? Well, right up on the screen, there's your answer to those questions. So as you give to CSL Leesburg, we tithe to our home organization, CSL, and we also look for other organizations that are helping to create a world that works for everyone. And that's even more important than ever. We're always looking for organizations. If you have one, please let us know about it. Odds are you found a way to make your donations. So join me in the blessing of our gifts. Here we go. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, announcements. All right, Dream Study. Dream Study. If you're a regular here at CSL Leesburg, you know about Dream Study. Mark your calendars for the next meeting. It will be March 8th, Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Join Charlene and her friends as they talk about, discuss, and try to put together the puzzle pieces that are presented in our dreams. Sometimes it seems they just don't make any sense, but when you stand back, take a look at them, and maybe share with friends, you can kind of see there's some messages even when we're sleeping. So the next dream study will be March 8th at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All righty, so if you can, there's a lot to unpack today, right? You heard about 2 wonderful books. If you can stay, join us for Pearls. If there's something like you'd like to discuss, if you'd like to share, this is our little coffee hour. We hang out with each other and we talk what resonated with you with the meditation, the message, or the music. And if you can't stay with us, then we'll send you off with our blessings as soon as we do our closing affirmation. All right, join me, unmute if you can, if you feel brave, and let me hear you. Here we go with our first one. Give yourself a big old hug. Remind yourself you are loved.
I am
I
am
love. Thank you so much. Love hearing you. And now think of someone that needs this message. It might be somebody in the room with you, a furry friend, a family member, or a friend. And we believe in interconnection. It can be somebody who's miles and miles away who needs this message. Let's send this out. Ready? You are loved.
You are
You
loved.
are loved.
Oh, I love that. All right. Now put your hands up in the air for our reminder that it's all love. Here we go. You ready? It's all
love.
love. All right. Thank you so much. Like I said in the beginning, for taking time out of your day to join us. If you can, please stay. And if you can't, know that we send you off